All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight, doing something a little different this evening. I say, still going to be a race, still going to have a lot of fun racing on track action tonight, but doing a little bit of an awareness support event, I guess you could call it. And I say, obviously, biasedly, but definitely one that's near and dear for sure to my side and, of course, my brother's side. So, yeah, so basically, you got some of the drivers with Area 51, some other racing leagues here, kind of racing in support of our dad. Unfortunately, been going through a lot of tough stuff lately. I say he's dealing with cancer and been going through chemo, and I say he's kind of one of the toughest people I think both of us know. One of the most stubborn people that my brother and I both know as well. So. Quabi, kind of a bittersweet type of event here, where it's great seeing the support that he's got from all his fellow competitors and friends that he's made over the time of racing. But it kind of sucks at the same time because you never want to have to do these kind of events just for having to be in this situation if in the first place.
Yeah, certainly no one wants to be in the situation to need the support. However, good group of people here, happy to support him and let him know that they're thinking of him, and and treatment's going well, so as well as that can, and we hope for more good news as things progress.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, and for those that aren't aware, yeah, so unfortunately battling a couple unfortunate different types of cancer, has been going through chemo for about a couple of months now. So, but like I said, yeah, just him being the typical kind of stubborn self that we've known and grown and loved over the course of our lives. So, yeah, so let's say these drivers here, Charles Johnson, again, really appreciate him getting this kind of organized for all the drivers here tonight. Again, really appreciate the count that for everybody showing up here tonight for this event. And say no donations, no GoFundMe's, anything like that. Just here to have some fun and just basically letting him know that there's a lot of guys here thinking about him, rooting him on, and praying for him and such. So, I say, and Peter DeBorgia, saw you popped in here as well. So yeah, definitely appreciate you, Peter. Definitely looking forward to seeing you over the course of this upcoming season. And I guess while we have a second to bring that up, Quabi, is it's the off season. It's kind of come and gone for this Area 51 league. I'll say we're gonna be starting up the new season here on Sunday, on August 7th, I believe it is, following with the Super Speedway Xfinity Series, then of course back to Tuesday with the Indy Series, and then Thursday Super Speedway Truck Series. And then, of course, for those that maybe want to just race for fun, don't have to worry about broadcasting, anything like that, I'm going to be doing some Lotus 79s on Monday nights. So no broadcast, just kind of racing, have fun. I'm sure, of course, points and all that will be involved, but so a lot of racing coming up here with Area 51 as well. So drivers qualifying at the moment. And then, yeah, once the qualifying completes, I'll say drivers going to be doing a four-wide salute lap to our old man, and then they will get underway and have some fun racing this evening. And so,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Quabi.
sorry to step on you. Yeah, just thanks to Charles for getting this organized. Good turnout, and yeah, this is the fun between series is over. It's time to start thinking about the seasons. I think the Lotus 79 League will be very interesting. Maybe no broadcast, but there are points being tabulated, so I think people will take it pretty seriously.
Yeah, whenever points are involved, yeah, always something to be taken seriously. I say it doesn't matter what kind of racing it is. I say it could be lawnmower racing. These guys would be going after it all. So right now, the qualifying just has completed. So we'll pull up that starting grid for tonight's event, as it's going to be on that pole position is going to be the number 07 of Robert DuPont by just 0.15 of a second over Michael Taylor. Then you got Cody Nagels, Dean Wilkinson, Randy Miner, Robert Rock, Eric Laurie, Vicente Guerrero, Bud Steele, and David Bond. There are top 10. And in 11th there you have Charles Johnson, who you had previously mentioned. We'll be pulling him in here shortly. Tom Dixon there in 12th. And then Josh C.A., Joe Delavecchia, James Mohan, Simon Sergis. I'll say some new names, new pronunciations. I'll probably botch. Apologies in advance. Doug Lemon, Mark Mastraya, Robert Jordan, Donald Kendrick in the top 20. Then you got David Overstreet, Gabe Butler, Robert Duvendak, Al Cena in 24th. And then finishing up our grid here, you got Brian Grimm, Bob Fitzgerald, Jason Adams, Guy Bracco, and David Thatcher. So with that, Quabi, let's go ahead and pull up the kind of the brains behind this whole setup here tonight, which is the number 9 of Charles Johnson. So we're going to drag Charles on over here because I say he's probably multitasking, kind of get everybody squared away and settled in here, Charles. But again, Charles, really appreciate you setting this up. I say we see a lot of. I say my dad's going to feel like he's seeing too many of himself here tonight on the grid this evening. But yeah, really cool for you to set this up here tonight. And I know definitely you're one of the first we wanted to pull in to kind of just, if anything you wanted to say or things you'd mentioned, kind of just wanted to talk a little bit here before we kick things off tonight.
So yeah, I just wanted to do something for Jim to let him know we stand with him, and we know that he's fighting a battle, and we wanted to be part of the we stand with Jim tonight. When we come around for the start here, we're going to throw a caution. We're going to all come back to the start-finish line, and we're going to do a 4-wide strong for Jim. So, and I just hope Jim enjoys the race tonight, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, my friend. This is for you tonight.
Yeah, I say as long as he doesn't have to worry about the penalty points, I say he's probably going to be okay with just enjoying the show this evening. I have a feeling, Charles.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, so yeah, I definitely appreciate, like I said, Charles, means a ton to, obviously to him and obviously to us as well, that all the time and effort you've put into this and getting such a good group of guys. And I mean, I said you can kind of speak to it because I mean, you and Bud and a bunch of these guys, like you guys have been racing for several years together now, running Area 51, but then kind of moving over from another league to form this one. I mean, I say, how many years have you guys been working with Area 51 and with you, Jim, Bud, and company?
Yeah, this is about 4 years now, maybe going on 5. So, Jim and I have become close friends. We've worked together to build Area 51 where it is today. And he's put a lot of work and time into it. And man, I just think the world of him. He's a best friend of mine, and never met him personally, but I know if I met him today, we'd be best friends forever. So I just look forward to running with Jim for many years to come, and just wanted him to know tonight that we're thinking about him and standing with him.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Charles. So say we'll let you put your admin hat on, get everybody squared away here, and say once that green flag flies, looking forward to seeing you have some fun with your fellow competitors here tonight, man.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Charles.
All right, so that's that number 9 of Charles Johnson we just mentioned, and yeah, so say pop it in the chat here and say yeah. So we got a couple more guys. Charles Teed, I say another one of those guys, works a lot with our dad over on the Dark Horse IndyCar side of things. I say Charles always a good dude as well. So we got both Charles Johnson here, Charles Teed on the IndyCar side, great guys as well. And then kind of maybe the adopted third son, if you will, Quabi there with Chris hopping on in the chat too. So yeah, always. I say I don't disagree with you there. It's always fun to have. I don't know if you can have too much, Jim. So we definitely have plenty of him tonight here on the racetrack. So really cool to see, and you'll see these guys working that 4 wide here in just a moment.
Yeah, I don't think he's seen his face so many times simultaneously ever in his life. So congrats on this life achievement of seeing your face on cars all over the track.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which is worse, having to see your face everywhere or having to hear your voice everywhere. I say that's my issue. Luckily, I say I've got the face for radio, so but yeah, once it comes time for the broadcast to be over, I usually try to avoid listening to myself afterwards. But the other thing that we'll be able to play with a little bit here tonight, Quabi, is just kind of some of the fun stuff that we've done. I mean, when we talk about sim racing and just kind of how things have grown over the course of the years. I mean, this is something that we've been a part of, a lot of it through him, obviously, for years, pretty much since we really grew up. I mean, obviously, we both remember the go-kart as kids growing up and getting to play with that, and then taking the restrictor off the go-kart, going faster, and probably making bad life decisions on it. And then a few years later, here comes sim racing, saying, I mean, you were one of the first to really kind of get to the competitive side of sim racing for those that aren't familiar with some of the early sim racing games on PC. Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, you had to do an offline championship, made it to the final round where you had to enter an essay to see if you could win a trip to the Daytona 500 that following year. And saying same thing, just those are things that he was able to do to support us and kind of help us just do things we enjoy and enjoy it along with us.
Yeah, that was fun. The Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. I remember Papa, as we call him, Papa Jim for most everybody else. He was my crew chief as I went through the offline series, and you can see the 4 wide in progress right now. So it's pretty cool sight. And yeah, so we expected that we had to lead the most laps, win every race to get first place, and we were correct, and we were in a tie for first place. So the SA was the tiebreaker, and I think the grand prize was a trip to Daytona 500, and you had a chance of winning, I don't know, 1988 Ford Thunderbird, something like that. Anyways, we got a Ford Thunderbird. It was a radio control car as a kind of consolation prize. I guess my SA wasn't quite good enough, or they realized giving a Ford Thunderbird to a minor might not be the greatest idea. But yeah, couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're probably about 12 years old at the time. So yeah, so probably not the best interest to do a new car for a 12-year-old or so. But yeah, I mean, we kind of continued on from there for other various racing series like the what was it, Papyrus, or not Papyrus, the Indy 500, the simulation, or Indianapolis 500, the simulation. I'm sorry. With probably one of the most difficult anti-cheat approaches, where you had to basically go through the back of the manual to match the picture of the car on the screen, and then be able to then choose and go, and then be able to go on and race. And so yeah, I say it's obviously two of the really, really early going racing things that we started with. And then we got to the online side of things with NASCAR, the original Papyrus NASCAR racing, where we had a very angry mother at all three of us, actually, because we had a really expensive phone bill making long distance calls to basically be able to race online using dial-up modem. And it was all of our first go at racing online. And I think at that point probably we're still keyboard and mouse. I don't know if we picked up the steering wheels at that point, which we went through our fair share of as well. So we had a lot of versions and a lot of variations of kind of what we did throughout the course of our growing up and our youth.
Yeah, reflecting on it, it's really hard to place this all in a timeline, but I just looked it up. So Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, that came out in 1991. So I was 10 when we did that game. Indianapolis 500, the simulation, was Papyrus's first release, I believe. That was in '89, and I know that game. That simulator, we played with a keyboard because that's what we had. And I want to say somewhere around NASCAR Racing, the original, we picked up either Thrustmaster T1 or T2. And any of you guys that had hardware back then can probably relate to this. We were changing potentiometers a lot, bungee cables, all kinds of things, just to keep that thing rolling, because those really early units, they were not very hardened, and sometimes things would drift, or the throttle would stop working randomly, things like that. But you had to get it working because you wanted it to race, because it was way better than the keyboard.
Yeah, so that's definitely what I remember Daytona with the NASCAR one, was you missed the tri-oval, you were going to hit that outside wall, because it was a very sharp tri-oval in NASCAR, original Papyrus NASCAR racing. So yeah, you're exactly right. So say pace cars are working around, say we got the 1 to green here, so we're going to kick things off on the 1 to go probably this time around. We're going to have some pictures and some fun facts, and we'll definitely be pulling other drivers and everybody in for some interviews throughout the course of the evening. And also for those that are viewing and supporting, like I said, we definitely have some good friends, like I said, and kind of adopted kids, if you will, part of the two, like so Vivek, Chris. I say if you guys have any fun stories you want to share or add, by all means feel free to chime in, and we can definitely bring it over here as well. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun to do all this. We're definitely looking forward to doing a lot more of it. And yeah, so it's going to be really cool to see. I say we got a lot more projects in our future with him, of course, Quabi. I say with again, part of the picture we'll see is say we've our completed project or perpetual project, the 1963 Chevrolet Nova drag car, say down into the mid-8, low-8 second brackets, 160 miles an hour. So that time's about done, so that car's going to have to be going up for sale. So if you know anybody wants a drag car that's really fast and really cool, definitely get a hold of us. Next project, though, we've got a kit car to build, and let's say you made the big trek for us over the last 2 days from LA to Tucson here to pick up some wheels and tires for that Factory 5 Daytona. So definitely appreciate you helping me out on that one. I say we've got a lot of work to do for that one, but it's going to be a lot of fun to do with them.
Yeah, we hope that the tires or the wheels will fit the brakes that he intends on using, to be determined. But at least it can roll for now.
Yeah, Zach, I say once we get all the suspension parts, yeah, I say first step is we got to do some chassis painting. I say we've been talking about that plenty, so say be ready for him to kind of hit you up on getting that chassis paint squared away. I say right now the field actually lights are back on the pacer, so I think they're getting everybody lined up in their correct positions here, and then we'll get things going probably in the next lap, I believe. So with that, I say, well, while we have that moment, Quabi, let's go ahead and pull up some of those pictures while we have a second here. And so we're going to start off over here on the PC Racer side of things. Again, we talked about some of the racing. Say we've been there, done that. In NASCAR 2003, the series, or I should say game, say we actually ran a league over there. Say PC Racers, we kind of absorbed, took over a league, and then kind of made it our own. Made a lot of friends, a lot of hard work to get that league up and running. So one of our IROC series that we did with that car, I say we'll run through a couple of paint schemes through the NASCAR 2003 season that we did. Another one of his PC Racers COT car with the spoiler. Again, a very modular game. Could put all sorts of mods and various series trucks and Gen 6 and all that. It was kind of going throughout it. But yeah, I say number 70 was kind of the go-to number for him initially. So we're
not seeing what you're sharing right now.
Oh, is it not showing on the YouTube?
I don't. No. Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's not. Oh, it's not showing your Discord.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong screen. My mistake. I'm a rookie broadcaster.
But yeah, and then I say we were ahead of the game though. We say it looks like we first went with the number on the rear decklet of the car. So say we were pioneers of where to put those numbers. Obviously, wound up being in the front corner in the future, but they tried it out for that rear corner. And then of course the more perpetual, the common side number on that number 70 machine that he ran a lot of. And then of course, also a big fan of Stephen King, for those that may not know. So did a little bit of painting for him, some Stephen King, The Shining paint scheme there. You got the red rum car with the twins, and here's Johnny on the back there. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff. And so we'll do a quick Nova picture before we go green. But so this was an exciting one for us, Quabia. So you got to go the first day. I went the second day. Went to that Pink's All Out event in Phoenix at Firebird Raceway. You were there for the initial day, and then that first day, or the first time that car broke the 9-second bracket as a all motor tunnel ram car, which was a 9.99 with the 7. And we were right in the number to try to make it in that bracket, but just car wasn't consistent enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, technically that's 9, so that's all that counts, though. That was a fun trip. It could have, well, it would have been exciting to make that selection, but I think there are other things at play there, too.
Yeah, and I probably for the best that we didn't get in there, because that would have been pretty crazy. But with that, though, say we'll get some more stuff as the pace car rolls off here. So right now, again, 29 drivers taking part in tonight's event. It's going to be Robert DuPont, Michael Taylor on the front row. And once that green flag flies, we will be underway here. So it's going to be, say, 70-lap scheduled distance, going to go a little further here, of course, as green flag is out. It's going to be Robert DuPont leading the way, Michael Taylor to his outside as they head into turn number 1 for the first time.
It takes about half a lap for these cars to get up to speed. I think we'll see people stay too wide for now. And I don't even know how they know who they're racing against, because all these cars, so many of these cars are identical looking. So hopefully they know who they're working with and who they are maybe not as willing to work with. Otherwise, it's going to get even more confusing.
Yeah, so we had this problem with the TW Motorsports team early on in the seasons, and then they started kind of changing the color scheme, almost like those IROC cars, where you kind of have the one main color, and then you switch it over to a different color, and so you have the same kind of template, but a lot of different colors to stand out. So I'll say the one that will be no trouble finding on track, though, has always been that 07 Robert DuPont. I say, yeah, with a name like DuPont, I feel like you got to have a paint scheme, of course, with that 07 car. However, it's going to be Michael Taylor leading the lap number 1, or in this case, lap number 6 here, with a big shove from Dean Wilkinson there. It clears the 2 of them here, drop down to the inside. As they're you talk about maybe going 2x2 early on. No, they got other plans there. Cody Nagels, he's going to run the middle there with that number 7 of James Mohan right behind him. As I say, my partner in crime here, Four-Legged, wants to join in the broadcast as well. And now it's going to be Cody Nagels trying to take the point here.
Well, 3 wide didn't last too long, so maybe cooler heads are prevailing for now, but it's early. We'll see 3 wide more, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's only a matter of time. I say there's gonna be a few guys that just kind of take it easy, kind of play cool. But yeah, these guys will start getting greedy. I say, and actually, if the setup is similar as previous seasons, should be right on the edge of a 2-stop race. So probably see these guys pit I'll say, of course, with the numbers being a little bit skewed here tonight, I say probably now be closer to lap number 30, I would say, for that first stop. But, oh, man, Vicente and James Mohan are just right on top of each other here going through the turns 1 and 2 there. And that 7 car is getting awful wiggly off the bumper of that number 14.
And the third line looks like it's trying to reestablish itself. I saw 3 cars up in the high line. Let's see if they're making any progress.
Say not a ton yet, but yeah, it's being led by the 99, it looks like here, Robert Duvendak. And yeah, so who's he got there working with? It's like Robert Rock is up there and trying to see. You got the Sunoco car. I think that is Joe Della Vecchia. And then the third car in line. It's really hard to tell the car, but I think that might be Brian Grimm in that number 24, if I'm not mistaken. Which I probably am. Nope, it's actually, it is indeed Brian Grimm. And then kicking in there that 127 of Donald Kendrick as well. So yeah, it took another lap, but yeah, here they come, Quavi. That third lane is starting to form quickly here. Let's say, and they're trying to make that outside line work.
Yeah, it looks like they're making their way to the front. We have our typical stragglers in the back, which is where I like to be to allow for the eventual wrecks to happen and hopefully get through it. But so far, everything's looking pretty clean.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody's going to kind of play nice for a little bit, but yeah, at some point, then, like I said, the typical plate racing kind of kicks in, and everybody's like, you know what? Yep, it's time to go. So, I'll say let's say, you know what? You know, somebody who's kind of cruising, taking it too easy. We're going to put them on the spot, and we'll make them talk while they're racing. SRX did that with Tony Stewart. And so I don't know if there's anybody that's as competitive in that number in the Super Speedway series as that 88 of Gabe Butler. So let's pull Gabe on in here, put him on the spot. We got to hunt him down here. All right, there he is. Let's pull in the sandbagger at the moment of that number 88 of Gabe Butler. So Gabe, I'll say we're talking about some of the guys going 3x3, and then you got the stragglers kind of waiting to kind of make their mark and do their damage here. Say I won't do this probably usually during the regular season, but in a fun race, let's go ahead and make you suffer a little bit here, Gabe. So what's the strategy for you here tonight?
Well, I'm just doing my best impression of your dad, hanging at the back and waiting to pounce. That's why I didn't qualify. I wanted to start where he'd normally start.
Yeah, saying. No, so yeah, he does like to start towards the back usually, and then yeah, kind of like you said, kind of let the chaos ensue and then go after it there. But I was saying, I mean, you were one of the early members here of Area 51, kind of one of the main guys to watch week in week out in the super speedways as well. I mean, how has it been running with the league and then running with him? I mean, obviously you've taken a big role on the super speedway side, doing a lot of admin work, helping with setups. I mean, just how's that been? I mean, how's it been being able to have some fun with racing, but then also having to kind of be the admin, if you will, to kind of take care of some things on the back end for those troublesome drivers?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I mean, great credit is due to your dad. I mean, this league is fantastic. It seems to be always clean driving, respectable driving for the most part, and, you know, again, that goes back to, you know, some of the values that your dad put in the league when he started it. And, you know, as far as racing your dad, I mean, it's always a blast. I mean, I get a kick out of him. He's probably got the calmest temperament I've ever seen. Even when he's angry, he sounds calm. And, you know, sometimes during a race, there might be a discussion under caution. He'll come out with these words that I'll have to open my Oxford dictionary and kind of look them up. So, the type of guy you want to be around, want to learn from, want to race with, and kind of want to hang out with.
Yeah, so yeah, when you ever guys get together, we'll get you guys set up and get a Guinness together for the next time you guys can get met up here in the future.
Well, I'm having one for him right now, so if I hit the wall by mistake, you know what happened.
This is true multitasking right here. Drinking,
Absolutely.
talking, and driving. My God.
Oh, and texting too, so I'm
of course.
Multifunctional right now. That mightn't last, though.
No, it looks like you're still holding a pretty solid line, Gabe. So, but no, yeah, definitely appreciate you being a part of this, and also, of course, everything you've been involved with and helping with the league. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, you've been a kind of an integral part of making this league where it's been, especially on the super speedway side. So, definitely, a lot of drivers can learn from you for kind of when and where to make the moves and how to be fast but still be clean. Because I say you're one of those perennial front runners, but when you look at like the incident points and things like that, you're always on that low end of the scale too. So. It's really cool to see kind of how you're able to do a little bit of everything with these cars at these tracks where not a lot of guys can kind of do that little bit of everything. So yeah, it's just awesome to be able to share this with you tonight, Gabe, and definitely look forward to seeing you the rest of the way tonight and, of course, this upcoming season here in just a couple more nights.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and it's a great pleasure to be here tonight. A great turnout on behalf of your dad. So he's a highly respected member of the league, and not only just this league, but I'm sure across iRacing. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of the race here and the rest of and looking forward to next season too.
All right, man. Go have some fun, Gabe.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, drag Gabe back over to his teammate there. That is the 071 of Eric Loring. So we'll do a little Eric update here. See where Eric's running right now. That 071. And he is right in the thick of it here in that car, trying to find where he is in line. There he is, right behind the 101 Randy Minor. As up front though, we've got a new leader, and that's going to be Cody Nagels once more. And actually hopped in front of Michael Taylor there. So that's going to open up the second lane here. And it looks like it's going to be the 24 of Brian Grimm leading the second pack. That third lane hasn't given up yet, Quavius. So we're kind of watching the back of the pack with Gabe. Like I said, just kind of taking it easy. Maybe pulling the gym line there. They just kind of cruising, waiting to make some big things happen. Because right now they are squiggly up front there. That 21 just kissing Nathan for a moment there. And yeah, say Papa chiming in there saying Gabe probably run blindfolded and still win these races. So a big bobble there towards the back there. But it looks like he's just going to hang on to it. But that was a very close call there. And I believe that was just in front of... Actually, no, I think it was Tom Dixon was one that had the big save there in that 411 car. It was either him or the 617. But yeah, very close quarters there. Donald Kendrick right behind him in that 127. So... still early on, but these guys are definitely fighting pretty hard here, and like I said, just doing what we kind of expect them to do at Talladega.
Yeah, it was a good save by Taylor. Hitting that apron is a little more forgiving at Talladega than Daytona, but held on to it without drifting up too high and causing the crash. And I don't know how you can broadcast with all these look-alike cars. I'm struggling to know who's who, but yeah, you see Cody's definitely running really low on the line, which is the fastest way around. But if you hit it, it can bite you.
Yeah, it looks like that third lane has kind of fizzled out now. As you saw that one car, I think it was Donald Kendrick 127. He's dropped to the back there. So third lane went for a couple laps. They've kind of dropped off the back just a little bit there. But yeah, you're right though. Up front though, yeah, Cody just kind of painting that yellow line here. Wouldn't be surprised at some point, even though they're all here just to have fun, but you'll start to see teammates, I think, try to get hooked up together at some point or another. So watch for that 6 and the 14, Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero, to try to find each other at some point here tonight. But yeah, right now, and actually there's Vicente. He's the 4th car on the outside line, so they're getting close to each other. Haven't quite got there yet. But then, of course, the TW Brigade, if you will, say Dean Wilkinson right there in that 55 roll, and about the 5th spot there, 3rd car on the inside line here. Yeah, these guys definitely making pretty big moves here. And awesome. Right now, actually, the highest climber is our race leader, Brian Grimm. That car number 24 has gained 24 spots from 25th to 1st so far this evening. So that's the easy way to try to be the highest climber, just to get to the front here, and that's exactly what Brian has done here in these opening 17 laps.
Now we're about 8 laps from the pit window opening.
Yeah, I'd say probably maybe a little more. I think we're going to go closer to probably about 30. Oh, close call between 24 and 6 there down the backstretch. You can kind of see him jump to the side there for just a moment. So that's where everybody can have their heart skips just a little bit there for a split second. But again, the other thing to mention is with that new season coming on board here is going to have some new names, new faces. Maybe some of these guys that are in tonight's race maybe looking at prospective new members for the league. So it's always fun to see some new names, new faces in the series. Again, for the Area 51 League, they will be running 3 nights a week here, or 4 nights a week, 3 nights broadcasted. The first, of course, will be starting on Sunday for these cars right here, Super Speedway Xfinity Series. But primarily Talladega and Daytona. A little bit of the iRacing Super Speedway mixed in. I've heard rumors, no official confirmation yet on that one. Tuesday will be the IR18 Indy cars, kind of in conjunction with Dark Horse Racing. They're kind of picking themselves back up. They're going to be doing some racing over with Dark Horse back on Wednesday nights. So if you're looking for some more open wheel racing, check out Dark Horse Racing. And Monday nights, those Lotus 79s, that'll be a lot of fun, because those cars definitely are their own little animal. And then we round it back out Thursday nights with the Super Speedway Truck Series back on Green White Checker TV as well. I'll be there broadcasting. I'm going to have Maxwell Caldwell, Boomer Logan. They'll be joining me in the booth as well. So we'll definitely have some good talents here. And I'm going to be kind of doing Maxwell's as well, kind of running the show here in some broadcasts. He's got the computer to do it now. He wants to kind of learn and improve on his broadcasting ability. He's a great announcer, but looking to kind of do a little bit more. So it's gonna be fun to have Maxwell kind of run the show here in the upcoming weeks as well. So that's been what's been great, is just no shortage of talent here. By chance picking up these amazing broadcasters and commentators. It's been a lot of fun, and it's crazy to think how long it's been since this all kicked off. It just, again, our dad saying, "Hey, why don't you broadcast this league?" And it's just how it's grown, and all the viewers and support, and we got over 300 subscribers to Green White Checker TV on YouTube. It's really cool, and I say just impressive just a quick idea that our dad can put together, how much it grows.
Yeah, you have quite a fan club, even if you don't like to hear your own voice. You do an excellent job, and the team that you guys now have, it's cool to see both the league and the broadcast grow. Probably not great for your video card budget, though. I think it probably hurts there, right?
Yeah, there's some expensive video card purchases that had to happen during the kind of the peak of all the chaos there, but it worked out all right, I'd say. I'm definitely not in this for the money of this. It's definitely just to have some fun and enjoy kind of hanging out with people, and honestly just making friends and enjoying what you do. Like when I get to do these with kind of not way back, but initially off with Dale and Steve. It just kind of turned into a way to hang out with your buddies, but then talk about the racing that you're watching together, and it's just a nice way to kind of enjoy yourselves and just kind of have a back and forth while hanging with your friend. Obviously, more recently, like I said, Maxwell, getting Boomer involved, Nick Chambrone running the Monday Next Gen series. He did an amazing job, so I really want to thank Nick for him taking that one on and running with it so well. Then more recently, Chris Matthews, one of my buddies up in Phoenix. He's kind of hopped on here, and he's really had a lot of fun with that. It's been a lot of fun doing that with him as well. So it's been a good little crew here, and definitely looking forward to the next season of it here in just another week here, or actually a couple days, I should say. So definitely stay tuned for more, and looking forward to seeing kind of how Green White Checker TV progresses. And I got more. I've grown a lot as a broadcaster and on the graphics side of things, but I know there's going to be a lot more to be able to take advantage of. So that's going to be fun to see what's next for this channel.
Taylor is glued to the bumper. Guerrero as well. They're definitely trying to push their lanes as hard as possible.
Yeah, we're talking about teammates there, and Vicente and Cody finally got together, and we say those are teammates. So I said there will be a time where teammates are going to come into play here, and that's they have found each other, and that allows them to push that little extra bit, get that little extra speed out of that second lane.
Yeah, it's good to trust the person that's behind you and in front of you. You guys know how to race with each other really well, keep things really precise. You go faster. Gabe shows this week in and week out, and there are other people who are at that level as well, which is pretty remarkable to be at that level the whole race. That's one of the reasons why I like to hang out the back, so I can kind of turn my brain down a little bit, have to get hyper-focused. But you see the people at the front here, just that level of precision required is always on.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I'd say there's been a couple times where I'll step away from the booth and kind of hop in and race with these guys. A couple times where I let Maxwell and Boomer run the show, and it was a lot of fun. But you're right. I mean, after the race, I was so tense and so stressed where I was basically just death gripping the wheel, because I was in the middle of 3 wide, about 4 rows deep probably, and these guys do this week in, week out, and it almost doesn't even seem like it phases them. So it's really cool the abilities these guys have, and there's times where it's like, yeah, this is why I'm in the booth and not on the track, because I'd be the same as you, Bobby. I'd be just kind of cruising the back, kind of just playing it safe until it's maybe okay, now I need to try to make a move. But a lot of these guys have different strategies, and some of them and more often than not, each person has their own way, and a lot of times it works for all of them. We've seen Todd Siebel's the 45 car, not here this evening, but he is definitely one that kind of uses that ride strategy until it's time to go. He uses that very, very well, and more often than not, he can get to the front. But then you get the Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerreros, Dean Wilkinson, I'll say actually lately, he's been definitely one that's been charging hard to say they just get up front, they control the race, and they can just stay up front and be where they need to be all race long. So a lot of different ways of going about it, but it seems like more often than not, they all have the opportunity to get there, and it's just basically kind of, as long as the bad luck doesn't hit them, they're usually in a really good spot for it.
The trouble with both of those approaches is eventually they converge towards the end of the race, and everyone wants to be in the front. And that's where the conflict starts to really take shape, and especially at a track like Daytona where there's not that much room to navigate. You have to force your way 3 wide, and it's not a wide track comparatively. And
close there.
Yeah, that was tight.
But yeah, no, and you're exactly right there though. Is I believe it's 8 feet width difference between Daytona and Talladega, and so that's how insignificant, but actually also at the same time how significant it is for that to happen. Actually, you see Robert Rock here hitting pit road just in front of the field there. Obviously missed something because he was just about to get lapped there in that 171, so he's hitting pit road. And that car's actually got significant damage, so yeah, definitely unfortunately missed something on my side there. Apologies for that. Yeah, definitely some extra crinkles to that 171, so say Jim probably not feeling too good about seeing that damage on his face there, but I say looks like he's going to hit pit road, maybe a fast repair in his future as well. Again,
fast repair of the face.
Yeah, a face repair, if you maybe a facelift, I guess you could say. And that's another thing for those that maybe aren't familiar with Area 51. The way they run things here is they have one fast repair in the 3 Series, so kind of get a mulligan if something happens out of your control or you just get caught in an incident. Your race isn't over. You can get that fast repair to hop back out here. And as I say that, here comes pit stops here. Probably got a bunch of cars jumping down onto pit road. Oh, got one that way overshot it there. I think that was David Overstreet. If I'm not, nope, it's not David Overstreet. Who's that driver that overshot pit road? Ooh, Michael Taylor actually threw the grass as well. Maybe it was Michael that overshot it. It's going to be Dean Wilkinson that's going to lead the field onto pit road. Say Michael Taylor's going to have to regroup and go one more lap. So this is coming to 27 here, Quabi. So should be okay on fuel. Maybe a little tighter than than some will like to see. But talk about TW Motorsports, and it's definitely a big chunk of those guys on pit road here. Now we wait to see if we're going to see that response from that second pack that stayed out. As we got Vicente Guerrero clears the 6th, his teammate of Cody Nagels. We'll see if they jump in this time by.
Yeah, the rest of the pack is getting out of turn 4. So here's another group headed for pit road.
Yeah, we got Vicente Guerrero there, Cody Nagels, and the 07 there of Robert DuPont, and with a lot of speed there. Man, look at Joe Della Vecchia there, just out of nowhere. That Sunoco car got very big, very fast. He jumps on the pit road as well. So up front though, that's going to jump the 3 car actually of Bud Steele. He's going to take the point with Robert Duvendak behind him. Then you got Eric Laurie just a little bit further back. And we talked about something that we had missed earlier, and that's going to be also involving these cars back here. Gabe Butler, Al Cena, David Thatcher, Simon Sirgis, and Donald Kendrick. These drivers all are about 3 seconds off that group of Bud Steele and company. So whatever happened to Robert Rock earlier, I do think that definitely cost them some track position as well. So definitely apologies for whatever happened on track. Missed the incident there. That's what really separated that field. Is Michael Taylor's also on pit road from his, I believe, miscue there on entry. But here these guys come hustling it onto pit road, trying to gain every second they can, because this could be critical for them to try to regain this draft here after the pit stops.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask. I have a feeling they're going to be looking at a few seconds of deficit. But if they can get up to speed together, of course, their odds increase. I wouldn't bet on it, though.
Yeah, it just depends on how quick in and out you can get. And you see Gabe left side tires on that car. There goes a few. Gabe's actually going to cycle out with that 99 car right behind him. So we'll see how everybody comes out in relation to one another. It looks like it could work out. There's the 071 of Eric Laurie. So I think job might be done for a few of these guys to catch back up to him. However, it's going to be Bud Steele. It's going to win the race off of pit road. But now if you're looking at in the distance here, you're going to see a pack of cars on the track here that are going to start to grow very large very quickly. And here they come. It's going to be led by Dean Wilkinson. And there he goes. Dean Charles, and who's that third car in line with them there? I think that might be actually the 171 of Robert Rock. Yeah, it's Robert Rock that's tied onto them here. So right now Robert's sitting one down, but they've got a bit of a breakaway here, Bobby. They've got these 3 cars about a second or so in front of the group further back there of Bud Steele. So we might see a 4-car breakaway here with the Dean, Charles, Cody, and Vicente just catching out to the back of these guys. So this will be interesting now to see, can those 5 cars up front here stay away from the second pack being led now by Robert DuPont in that 07.
Yeah, the second group is really sizable, so if they actually get working together, they could reel us back in. But 5 cars is going to be hard to overcome. So we'll see how much they cooperate. I notice they're still too wide back there, so it's not looking promising yet, but it takes a little bit of time to get organized.
Yeah, and there's a couple trains of thought too of what's the fastest way around these super speedways. A lot of drivers like to stay single file, and saying when you got a small pack like these 4 or 5 cars, you want to definitely stay single filed here. As last time by, actually, it was Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero ran the fastest laps of the race of 49.45, 49.46, almost a full second faster than Dean and Charles are to catch that group. Whereas the Robert DuPont and company, they were about 2/10 quicker than Dean and Charles. So this is going to be a really good lap to see how they react, or are in relation, I should say, to each other. So you've got Dean Wilkinson, a 50.38. We go back to Robert DuPont, 49.99. So they're on their way here. Robert and Joe here making the moves they need to push back forward and close that gap to get to the front. So they're just going to steal every little draft they can. Here, as you see, jumping around, I believe that's Josh Say there in the 77 car. But yeah, right now I think Robert DuPont, that gap between he and Vicente Guerrero, I can watch it ticker, and it's starting to get a little smaller. And he's about to get to that magic window where he catches the draft of that 14, and you're going to see probably another purple lap out of that 07 car.
Yeah, they're doing really well, especially since it's mostly just the 2 of them hooked up with people kind of off the back. So if they're making up that time now, maybe they're already in the draft. Yeah, I think they have them.
Yeah, so I think they're pretty much there. I say it's only a matter of time. And yeah, there you go, 49.67 to 50.13, so half a second quicker for Robert DuPont. However, it's Al Cena in the 85 car, a 49.33, fastest lap of the race so far in that number 85 car. So say Al again, just kind of tagging off just a little bit off the back. He's on with Gabe Butler, Eric Roy. So again, a pretty potent group of drivers to work with there. But unfortunately, a little further back, the Randy Minor here, Brian Grimm, they're at risk of losing this draft here. And that 101's definitely got some damage to the back end of that car. So I say he's going to probably not have quite the pace he needs. But yeah, definitely no question, though. Robert DuPont, they are there. They've got the draft. So that 5-car breakaway is about to be another, looks like at least 10-car pack here in just another lap or two. As soon as it happens, though, you see Cody Nagels, he saw the momentum shift. He said, you know what, we got to jump to the top. And there you go, 49.15 for a split second. Robert DuPont, fastest car in track. Gabe Butler, the 49.09. We just talked about how quick the Al Cena's car was with the 49.30. Gabe just went almost 3/10 quicker in that 88 with that draft and getting that pole with these guys up in front of him.
Yeah, that's a stellar lap. And good job by DuPont and team. They caught the breakaway pretty quickly. So I think everyone's going to come back together except for the group off the back, unfortunately. But of course, a timely yellow can change everything. They might be hoping for that already because it looks like they have probably 2.5 second gap. Yeah,
that's exactly it. Yeah, it's a pretty big gap now back to Randy Minor, and then another gap to David Thatcher in the 420 car, about 7 seconds off of those guys. So, but here comes the momentum. They're going to go straight to the top here, and that is going to be the 3 of Bud Steele along with the 99 there of Robert Duvendak. I say right now it's pretty much everybody's kind of bottom feeding here. Might be, we talk about the fuel window, Quabby. Some of these guys might be a bit tight on making it on 2 stops, and we did have a bit of a range on pit stops. We had the Dean Wilkinson pitting at 26 to Bud Steele pitting at lap 28. So a 2-lap difference, I mean a 2.66 mile track, that is a pretty significant difference here. It could be the difference between a 2-stop or maybe having to take a very late splash of fuel for those guys, or having to maybe fuel save on the final run. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on right now, because we're just approaching here in the next about 5 laps. We'll hit the halfway mark on this race. Again, normally 75 lap race, ran a little bit longer here with the 4 wide salute lap there for those first couple laps. So yeah, still kind of a net 75 lap race, but just kind of different. Oh, a little organization there. Yeah, a little contact with the 6 and the 9 car there, middle and the inside lines there. Close quarters, so these guys are starting to get a little dicey, a little aggressive here.
Well, this is what the rear pack needs to have a chance of coming back. I think that might be too far for that hope, but yeah, they've drifted half a straightaway, it looks like. But yeah, things are getting a little bit racy. I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's just sometimes you're right against another car, it's just frankly just hard to see.
Well, another part that we haven't really talked about is these guys also. I mean, everybody runs different setups here. I mean, obviously, I know you run VR. I know obviously on my side I run the triple screens. I've tried VR, just doesn't work for me. But then others obviously, and then we'll have to of course kind of do the what our dad Jim's running here is saying he does run VR, but it's VR and then some. So you kind of over the pandemic had too much free time with himself and decided to build a motion rig. So he runs VR with a dual 3-axis, so basically a net 6-axis motion rig. And it's if depending on how high he's got the feedback turned up on that thing, he's actually got to belt himself in that thing, because if you hit the wall, if you make contact, it's gonna throw you around a little bit. So that's the other thing too, is everybody runs maybe a little bit different setups. And I mean, obviously you can attest for the VR. There's a lot you can poke around and look at and see everything going on around you. With the triples, maybe a little bit more limited to how much you can see around you, but definitely different immersions and things of that nature as well.
Yeah, I mean, VR couples with the motion rig very well. I remember trying out his motion rig. I think it was an open wheel car at Watkins Glen, and I just kept trying to go faster and faster, and eventually lost back into the car and slid towards the wall, and I let go of the steering wheel because I thought the wall was going to hurt for that split second. And, that was great immersiveness right there. So yeah, money well spent, I would say. I don't think I can get that line off, but I don't know if it makes you faster, but it makes you feel like you're driving, especially with VR on. It tricks the body. Whereas you're wearing VR, it takes a little bit to adapt, particularly in like start and stop, or if you have any like courses that have hills in it, your body can feel a little uneasy, and I feel like the motion rig can dial a lot of that out, because now you have movement that corresponds with what the brain's perceiving with the eyes. So it's pretty neat. Like, you think about where we come from, like when we're talking at the beginning of the broadcast, late 80s, and like, okay, just getting steering wheels, barely having VGA graphics, if any of you know what that means, to literally a broadcast, a production where you have, virtual cameras, commentators, virtual racing, and people racing with virtual cockpits. It's phenomenal how far we've come in the last 30 years.
Yeah, the growth of technology for sim racing and just technology and gaming in general, it's come leaps and bounds. And then so Muff, and for those that may be hopping in late, why we've got all these cars that look very similar, so you've actually entered the Matrix here. But no, in all seriousness, I'd say just doing a kind of awareness event, support event, if you will. So as I know you're aware, unfortunately our dad going through chemo, fighting cancer, and so one of the main just in the backside, Donald Kendrick looks like he kind of keyed up. He's actually jumped to the pits there. We'll go back and take a look at that real quick, but basically just kind of Charles Johnson set this up for him, for my dad and our dad, I should say, and just kind of letting him know we're here for him, we're supporting him, and just giving him everybody's best. And so it's just kind of a fun event to do. But let's go back, Quabi, because it looked like there was a moment here towards the back, that second group here with Donald Kendrick. It actually looks like it looks like he just actually pulled off track when the lead pack came over to him and said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pop out here. So might be an early retirement for that 127 car, unfortunately. But up front, though, still going to be that 6 of Cody Nagels leading the way. And we'll jump back just a little bit to that second pack here, Quabi, because it has grown to over 12 seconds right now. And there they are. You've got David Thatcher, Simon Sergis, Jason Adams, Bob Fitzgerald there, Mark Mastraya, Randy Miner, Brian Grimm, David Bond there. So right now you've got pretty much 13th through 20th here in the second pack. Unfortunately, I say right now it's Alcina, kind of the straggler, if you will, of the 12 on the lead pack right now. Again, Al pitting at 28 as well. So again, the fuel mileage I still think is going to possibly come into question here. Everybody pitting around 26 to 28. So based on those numbers, I would say we'll probably see them in again. Probably around what lap? Okay, this is where things get dangerous. I have to start trying to do math here. I'm gonna say probably
doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter at the moment. they're still hanging on to it. Cars are still pointed straight.
Oh.
And now we got cars around. This will probably bring out the yellow. And yep, there's the yellow. Big wreck there out of turn number 4. See Eric Lorry's in it. Charles Johnson, unfortunately, as well. The 6 of Cody Nagels, the 171 of Robert Rock. Unfortunately for Robert, I think he was in the potential to be the lucky doggo. We got drivers not noting they're still coming up. I think they all got through. There's definitely some soiled pants there, but it looks like everybody's gonna get through all right. So let's go back and see what happened here to bring out that yellow, because it looks.
Oh no, Papa's face is off that car. Sad.
Yeah, so we got some damaged faces there for Jim Brooks. But let's go back and take a look, see how it's all kicked off. And it actually looks like it may have been up right at the very, very front of the field. David Overstreet here in that 68 machine. So we're going to see he's got a big push from the 99 car. And I think for a split second he was clear. He tries to drop low here entering turn 3. Actually, I'm not sure if he tried it. I think he actually just got pushed too hard. And unfortunately right into the path of Cody Nagels, and nothing Cody can do. But I think, honestly, I think the 99 may have just got the 68 loose with the draft. It's like nothing intentional, just, again, that's kind of the fastest way to go, is to try to work and push. And then, unfortunately, from there, it's just kind of just everybody's just trying to find a way through. So you see Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson just sneaks by. Unfortunately, at 617 gets a solid piece of that of Doug Lemon. And then, yeah, there goes the 6, there goes the 9 around as well. And then for just a split second, everything looks good for Robert Rock. But there comes the 9, just catches the door of him and sends him around. And then a little further back there, here's where Eric Lorry gets caught in the side there. Again, Eric was looking good, just barely gets caught up in it. Then there's our Mr. Guinness there, the 88 of Gabe Butler, just sneaks to the outside just in time. As you look just in the background there, another car getting caught up with Eric Lorry there. So with that, though, we've got drivers hitting pit road here. So let's jump back live to catch those pit stops. This will be actually still outside the fuel window, probably lap 42 of 78. So they still have to go about 30, a little over 35, 36 laps. And yeah, I say there's Eric Lorry. So for fans looking on track, if they want a Jim Brooks hood, there's probably one somewhere on track that they can try to pick up. But Eric Lorry, though, he's going to have to take the Magic Fast repair here. And there he goes.
There it is.
Looks all better there. All right. So
yeah, I think probably everyone's in good shape for fast repair usage, except for maybe the 171, because he had some damage previously. So he uses fast repair then he's going to have a lengthy pit stop.
Yeah, so I'll have to wait and see. It looks like, I'm not sure if either Gabe stayed out or maybe Gabe just drove through the pits and then is going to pit the second time around, but I think he's going for the fuel mileage side of things, if I'm not mistaken. You got the 617 here, Doug Lemon staying out. I think maybe you're going to try to get the wave around here, but what we're going to do now is we're going to find our next victim to have a chat with. That is going to be the number 6, normally number 3 tonight, of Bud Steele. So, Bud, I'd say obviously first off, thanks for hopping on and having some fun with us tonight. So obviously I know you and my dad have been able to do a lot of racing, sim action, and just becoming friends over the course of those couple of years between Area 51 and some other leagues. But yeah, I figure now's the time to give you the floor here if you want to give him a hard time or anything like that while we're under yellow here.
Oh, no. Me and Jim, I was trying to think of today how long we've been running together. Maybe about 4 years when we started back in another league, and it seemed like we were, taking turns, winning and getting poles in the Indy races back then. And just so glad that I met him and became friends, and just got to keep this thing going.
Yeah, and you can kind of attest to that too. Is just the level of competitiveness that the league has kind of grown from to where it is now. I mean, so you guys have been picking up some ringers over the course of these seasons as well. I mean, what's on the IndyCar side of things? I say you got some of the best open wheel racers in iRacing probably over there. And then you go to the super speedway side of things, and same thing. I mean, we got some monsters over here that you have to try to compete with and have a chance to try to kind of jump over and try to get these wins here. I mean, how do you attest for that, for like just how much this league has grown in quality and quantity of drivers? I mean, it's pretty cool to see.
Oh God, it's phenomenal, and it's really from, a lot of the work that Jim and Charles have done and running recruiting races, and how the league's been, advertised, and you, Gael, and Green White Checker TV has just, made things, first class, really, in my opinion. And I can't blame anybody for wanting to come and run here and be broadcast by y'all. And it's all really because of Jim and Charles for the most part.
All right, well, so you got about 2 more spots to jump up here towards the end of this race. I know it's going to still be probably at least 1 more stop to the end, so we'll let you get back to it here, bud. But good luck the rest of the way, and definitely look forward to hopefully we get a chat with you here at the end of it.
Yeah, hope I can make Jim proud in this one here. Try to get this one.
All right, go get it, man.
Yeah, thanks, Gael.
So 1 to green. Just want to comment about Gabe Butler getting through that wreck. That's just what I hear is Gabe Butler can slow down time like the Matrix, like we talked about earlier, and then he just casually picks his way through any collisions on course. So if that's a skill he can train other people for, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's, as I said, he's the entire package. He can do a little bit of everything here tonight, so that's what's fun to see about him. So yeah, but like I said, the pace car's ducking off. It's gonna be Joe Della Vecchia leading the field to green here. Next time you got Robert DuPont, our pole sitter, and then we just talked to Bud Steele, Vicente Guerrero there in row number 2. As they come through the Geico restart zone, and say that's going to probably be a new feature we'll be seeing here shortly with the 851 is that iRacing implementing the restart zone. So be ready for that in this upcoming season as Joe and Robert here lead the field back through the gears here, starting lap number 45 of 78.
So is that going to be implemented similar to real racing, where you just have to go where it says, or is that something that the admins have to manage?
Yeah, so iRacing actually has implemented a restart zone where basically you've got to stay at a certain speed until you get to that window where basically anywhere in that window is where you're able to kind of stomp on the go pedal, and then from there, so you kind of can control. So you can't, it's not that big window what that used to be where you can basically start as soon as the pace car's off the racing surface and go whenever. So yeah, pretty cool to see what iRacing has really been able to adjust and grow and everything like that. So then yeah, I got a little confused there. I was like, man, Charles is chatting in YouTube and racing at the same time, but actually Charles Johnson Jr. chatting in there. So yeah, definitely appreciate you over here as well. And yeah, it's again, it's cool to see just the family side of things as well. Obviously with us, you racing, also obviously helping me broadcast here tonight. And I mean, you guys had a couple of fun finishes where I got to broadcast, and you and Papa kind of had 1-2 finishes both ways where you pushed him, he pushed you. And I said I got a lot of grief from my co-commentator there, Dale Knott, where he's giving me a hard time saying like, hey man, it's like, you should probably be a little more excited about this.
Hey, you're a professional, so you gotta act cool. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially to get interviewed after the race in that kind of scenario. Kind of reminded me of going back to like Dale Jarrett's first win, and Ned Jarrett was commentating. It's like, yeah, it's just small stakes comparatively, but this is the big time for us relatively. It's all relative, so.
Yeah. Ned Jarrett calling Dale Jarrett to Daytona 500 when I believe it was, and like I said, I mean, yeah, it's a little different on the stakes of things, but I mean, at the same time, though, I'm sure on both sides, I'm sure you felt really good pushing him to the win, and I'm sure the same thing, probably one of those proud dad moments pushing a kid to the win too. That's what's kind of fun about is these sim racing. It gives those opportunities. Like you don't see obviously a lot of family abilities like in actual NASCAR and racing series where they get to race together and things like that. We've obviously had a few instances. As I'm trying to go back and think when the last. I mean, obviously Dale Earnhardt Jr. Of course, they got to race. Unfortunately, a little unfortunate cut, quite short, but got to at least have about a little over a year together in the Cup Series with one another. But obviously, I know that Bobby and Davey Allison kind of unfortunately similar situation there as well. And I'm sure there's others that I'm missing. And say for those that maybe
Kyle and Richard Petty.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, Kyle and Richard. So there's probably some more as our statisticians can find in there, but
do we have those?
I don't know. So maybe in YouTube, I'll say I don't pay enough over at Green White Checker TV to have that hired statistician. So
I think the real family thing to unlock though is Ward Burton versus Jeff Burton.
That was always a fun one. And I love the jokes they made where Jeff Burton said basically that Ward was I can't remember if he was either born or grew up on the southern end of the house, and that's why, even though they're brothers, to say the accent's very, very different between the two of them.
Yeah, I would say, and Jeff Burton got into commentating. I don't think Ward was cut out for it.
Yeah, Ward didn't quite have the voice, I don't think, for broadcasting. But then, I mean, you look and you've got the kids in there now. So you got both their kids racing, Jeb Burton, and then Harrison Burton as well. So it's really cool to see kind of how everything goes full circle. You got the Blaneys, of course, Ryan Blaney with Dave Blaney, also in the Cup Series, and yeah, it's really cool to see kind of the family side of the sport as well with NASCAR. And I mean, again, obviously small potatoes on the iRacing side of things, but you'll see a lot of that as well here. But up front, though, we've got some aggression here going on. Oh, big bobble there. Everybody's hanging on to it for the moment, but I was about to say a big aggression from that 21 and Michael Taylor trying to get his lap back. Actually, I think it might be 2 down here. Oh, no, actually 3 down, I'm sorry. So
that was a good save, though.
Yeah, big save there by Cody. But yeah, Michael's trying to see if he can get one of those 3 laps back, because again, I mean, once you're 2 or more down, it's very tough to get back into the race. So, but yeah, he was pushing hard to try to get that position and get the yellow he needed. Unfortunately, that almost wound up being in the lane he was in there. So luckily, everybody's able to hang on to it. And that's the quick hands of these guys. But with all that craziness going on, that allowed Vicente Guerrero to get back to the front in that number 14. And once again, Robert DuPont, I mean, Maxwell and Boomer and I mean, we've been harping on him all season. He's just getting better and better, being up front more and more, and it's just going to be it's just going to take one time. He's going to put himself in the right place at the right time, and he's going to get that big first win. Say Matt Wagner, of course, one of our broadcasters as well, always loves the first time winners in Area 51, and I'm definitely with him. I mean, of course, it's always fun just to see the enjoyment of the guys win, but that first win, especially when it's this hard to come by, it's definitely something special.
Yeah, he's been improving his odds with his driving week in, week out, but there's nothing you can do to guarantee it. So just try to be at the right place at the right time. And I'd say right now he's looking like he's setting himself up pretty well. I was about to say while we were talking, like, meanwhile, the pack is three wide, 6 deep. Now we're down to 4 after that near miss. Looks like 3 now. So it looks like the racing is starting to ramp up more and more, but still one more pit stop remaining.
Yeah, and this is going to be the thing, is the timing of that yellow. It's going to give a really big range of when do you want to make that final pit stop. Do you jump in early? Do you jump in late? Because this is where you have opportunities. It's going to probably be a pretty quick splash of fuel. I'd say probably less than a can or so. Probably won't see that second can. So we're getting down to it here with 27 to go at the line. And so usually these guys can run about 25, maybe 26 laps on fuel. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see someone hit in with, like, in the low 20s or so. See these guys, someone in some teams, I should say, jump in pit road and try to kind of pull a fast one on the competitors. But usually the other guys, they're pretty aware of it, and they'll usually kind of say, okay, hey, they jumped in, let's come in next time. We got to cover this, almost like Formula One style, kind of covering that undercut, if you will. So then we see drivers that say, hey, you know what, we got the pace. Let's actually run further. Let's push that gap on them now, and then try to see if we can beat them in the pits and kind of get that gap afterwards. So there's going to be definitely 2 trains of thought here to try to pit early as soon as you're in your window, and those that may try to run it as far as they can, just in case they might have the pace to kind of stretch away from those other guys.
Yeah, in both cases, the key is having teammates to pit with. Like, this is a team sport, especially at the plate races. And if you're going by yourself, it's basically race over unless you have a caution. So you'll see things split out into those 2 groups, one that want to run long, one that want to hit right when the window opens. But if you see a group coming in, it's like 3 or less, that's not a great thing for them.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes, you're going to want teammates, but you're also going to want to have more than like 1 or 2. You're going to, like I said, I think a group of maybe 4 or 5 is probably about the perfect amount. That's going to be enough drivers to really get that draft picked up. And of course, the biggest part of it, though, is getting in pit lane, in your pit stall, and then out all together and well organized. Because the longer it takes you to get bottled back up and grouped back up, it's going to just cost you tenths, and then kind of grow from there, from tenths to a full seconds and so on and so forth. So I do think, I think we're going to see someone do it. I don't know who it's going to be, because Obviously, initially I look at Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels as they're both towards the front, but you got one on the low side, one on the top side. So I think honestly the best chance probably going to be TW Motorsports right now with Brian Grimm leading that group. Dave Thatcher right behind him, also part of that team as well. And then the 19 of Mark Mastrella. I'm not sure if Mark. No, I think Mark's actually with a different group. I think he's working with Bob Fitzgerald and Robert DuPont. So that splits up a couple of TW guys here, but yeah, I do think we're going to see some pit stops here in the near future. You see them going around the lap car, unfortunately, with significant damage. That was the 69 there. Guy Bracco, unfortunately, is a little bobble there on the outside there, the 99 car. So yeah, everybody's starting to get a little greedy. So that drafting is becoming a little tighter, pushing a little harder, squeezing a little more, because I think they know it's just about time to make that big charge to the front.
And sometimes your pit strategy's hand is played for you. If you're in the top lane, you can't go down. Guess what? You're running long. And I think you're seeing now cars are trying to get down to the bottom lane because they realize the window's opening now. For those that want to pit early, and you do want to pit with your teammates, but it's a 200-mile-an-hour traffic jam. You don't always get to change which lanes exactly what you want to.
Yeah, exactly right. So I saw one just peek off onto pit road. Not sure. Yeah, it looks like the 68 of David Overstreet. Unfortunately, though, pitting on his own here. So not sure if there was maybe a forced where he had to pit just due to the fuel. Maybe I'm not sure if he had to stay out or something like that. But that's definitely changed things up. But man, right now, look at this. Nobody wants to be on the inside. You got Vicente Guerrero leading the inside lane, but he's about 2 rows behind those top 2 on the outside and middle lanes. So it definitely looks like something to be found on that second and third grooves right now. But yeah, you can see though that 24 Brian Grimm, he does not want to give that 6 car the middle lane here. I think that's why he's staying committed to this middle. You can see Cody's trying to pinch him down a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's Brian's kind of incentive where he wants to run that car, and he said, you know what, I like this middle lane. Of course, now he has to because Vicente's there down low. But yeah, these guys are definitely starting to get pretty aggressive here on the side drafting and then just the pushing as well. As again, close to the trial there. As the 19 just about got to the outside of that 21 car.
Yeah, it's just starting to look a little sketchy here. When both parties try to side draft and often they'll hit doors, and yeah, they're very close to each other. So I don't know if we're gonna get to a green flag pit stop if this keeps going on, but they're keeping it clean so far.
And I was saying, this is actually where if I'm a little bit further back, if I've got a couple guys with me, I say, you know what, let's jump. If we can make it now, let's jump in here because these guys are getting pretty dicey and we could actually cycle around because you can pit here without losing a lap without too much trouble. So you could duck in now and be able to stay on the lead lap. And if they do wreck, you're going to be basically net ahead of them and kind of in your own little area here. So right now, though, still no takers here as we're down to 21 to go here at the line. So these guys might be accounting for that green light checkered window, of course, Quad, because it's one thing to make it to lap 78. It's another thing to have to go a couple extra attempts. Close there to 14-24 again, squeezing each other here. These guys are getting, even the second pack now, they're right on the door of each other there as well. These guys are getting dicey and aggressive here. So I think all that friendliness, 2 double wide and single file racing, that's out the window. These guys are going for the win now.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have 3 wide racing and door contact for probably the rest of the race. Keep it caution free, that would be amazing. But things will split up a little bit. You have at least one car coming down pit road. I can't tell who that is.
It looks like it's going to be Bud Steele, but he's coming in alone, Clubby. That's exactly what
that's terrible.
That's what you don't want to have. So, unfortunately for Bud, he's rolling solo here in that number 3 car. So, this is where, I mean, this could still wind up working out for him because if these guys keep like they're going, if they bring out a caution, Bud's going to cycle out in the front here without too much trouble. So, but I mean, again, that's all going to be dependent on if and when a yellow comes out here. So, but for Bud, he's just got to nail his pit stop, hit his entry, hit his exit. And honestly, I think he's just got to hope that someone comes in this time so he can try to tag onto them when he cycles back around. So we'll keep an eye on that 3 car, but right now we're going to stay focused on this pack right here with Vicente Guerrero leading it. And we'll see if we got any takers to jump on this time around. And again, no takers here looks like. So yeah, Bud's going to be a tough spot right now because he's coming up to speed out of turn number 2 now. But again, just on his own. So that's not what he was hoping to see here. So at this point, Bud's best chance is if he can get a yellow before the rest of the field pits. There's the 24. He drops back down low. If he can get that timely yellow before the rest of the field pits, I think that's going to be Bud's best chance at this point now to try to have a chance in this race for the win without a yellow. Basically, I think, unfortunately, he's probably out of the running.
As you see Vincente putting a pretty hard shove on Grimm, it's yeah, they have to be pitting any moment now, and you see cars dancing all over the place. This could get messy.
Yeah, so I just, yeah, the way everybody's trying to squeeze, I think everybody's trying to find the way to the inside line, but again, though, you start. I guess I'm looking, I said, it looks like it's starting to drop a little bit. I think some of these guys are realizing, you know what, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to back it down and get to the bottom here. I think that's why you're starting to see that third lane fizzle out just a little bit here as they come up on the 68. I believe that was David Overstreet. Yep, David's going to jump to the wall here. Saying that's, oh, actually, no, we got contact behind.
Crash.
We'll see if that brings out the yellow. So far, all cars are staying pointed in the right direction. Oh, it's David Thatcher's the one that got the biggest of the hits there, unfortunately. And it looks like we will stay.
Another crash.
Got spin further up the field. There's the caution. Charles Johnson, unfortunately, involved. And that's the break Bud Steele is looking for, Quabi. This should be putting him pretty much in the catbird seat. But yeah, I had just about two incidents there, one off of two, and then, of course, this one now that brings up the LEC, the 9 car, the 617, both trailing smoke, unfortunately, so they got the worst of that one for sure. So let's first kick off with what happened to the first one of David Thatcher here. So let's back it down a little bit here. So we're gonna
Unfortunately for some of these guys, this is their second incident, so they will have to do the manual fixing.
Yeah, exactly right. So here's the 420 of David Thatcher. So we're gonna see what happened to him here out of turn number 2. Oh, and yeah, you see right there the 07 who was just trying to follow Vicente Guerrero. Didn't realize, I don't think, that David was there, and just, unfortunately, just honestly just kind of put him in the wall. And you see also there the 21 getting involved as well. Michael Taylor getting some damage probably from that as well. But then, as things kind of got a little bit more wild, I guess you could say, further up front here. And again, I think everybody's just trying to find where they needed to position themselves. And right here, it's Mark Mastrella. Looks like he has a little bit of contact there to that car to his inside. Who is? Oh, and then yeah, there's where Bud Steele makes the contact. I'm trying to see who he caught with. Oh, it's the 99 car. And then unfortunately there at that point, Charles just, unfortunately, kind of just innocent bystander there. And you see the 33 also gets a little piece as well. There's the 617. Thought he saw the gap, couldn't quite fit it. Then you see here's that 33 of David Bond. He gets spun around as well. So the field's on pit road now as we're watching the replay still. But it looks like David not going to come out too bad from that. It looks like just kind of gets looped around, does a little bit of lawn mowing, and then he's going to grab a gear and get back after it. So could have definitely been worse for that 33 car. But we'll jump back live because the field on pit road. And it looks like, yep, Robert DuPont's going to be the first to hit his pit stall. But like I said, here's the driver to watch, Quabi. Bud Steele cycles right by all those guys to the point.
Yeah, I don't know if that's where Bud wants to be at this point of the race, but he's in the front. He's all the way in the front. And so hopefully he has someone behind that's willing to work with him and keep him up there. Because if he can stay there, at this point of the race, you would like to stay up there. So
I
really
like
depends on who's around him.
Yeah, I think if you're Bud here, you pretty much, it looks like he's kind of on his own right now in that 6 car. So I think you pretty much just live on that yellow line because, again, obviously out of bounds, not allowed to pass on the inside. So if you don't have a lot of teammates, you use whatever you can to your advantage. And obviously you want to be in the middle to the top lane to try to win these races when you're trying to kind of get to the front. I think for Bud, though, his best friend is going to be that yellow line. So I think he's just going to try to hug that early and often. So with this yellow, though, we got to bug some more people here. And we're going to bug that number 55 of Dean Wilkinson because he's kind of one of the members and one of the drivers that are part of that TW brigade here, Dean. And obviously done a lot of racing with Jim and a lot of these guys over here. So definitely want to pull you in here as well because it's been an eventful one for you. You've been up front, you've been in the middle of some craziness, and so far you've been able to kind of get through most of it. So what's it going to take in these final about 14 laps once we get back going again?
Well, I'm just going to have to hold fast, see if I can get back up there. I'm in 8th now, so I'll be starting on the outside, which is good. And hopefully somebody will come with me in the 3rd lane and we'll get up there.
So this is one of those situations where you look for a teammate, one of the TW guys to try to kind of tag onto, or is it just kind of find the momentum and just go with whatever's going?
Go with anybody and take anybody.
All right, so while we have you though, say obviously kind of just doing this for kind of letting the old man know that everybody's thinking of him and kind of giving him their best wishes and all that. So obviously I know you've been a big part of Area 51, also done a huge amount of help with the Super Speedway series as well here. And just, I wasn't sure if there's anything you wanted to throw out there for him or for any viewers and things of that nature.
I just want to apologize for the picture because that was given to me. I don't know how old it is, but get well, Jim, and I'm always thinking about you. So, thinking about you.
All right, we'll go have some fun, Dean. Go beat up these guys and go get that third lane rolling here once you see that momentum shift, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so that is that 55 of Dean Wilkinson. So sounds like maybe the painter of the paint scheme. So I say I have no complaints on my end. I like the way it's set up there. It's like kind of the blue matches well with the fire suit, obviously, that he has to run for the drag racing. So again, I say we're all our own worst critics, so we'll all hate any picture and every picture of ourselves. So on our unbiased side, I say I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a pretty cool paint scheme.
Yeah, you did well. It's a nice thing to commemorate the occasion. Really hard for broadcasting, but I'm adapting slowly.
Yeah, so next week you'll think. Oh, actually, I should say Sunday things will probably get back to normal. We'll see lots of original and fun paint schemes. I'll say it's always fun to see what these guys have in store. Like I said, you're used to seeing like Robert DuPont. I say that 07 car. I'm used to seeing that car week in and week out. That is the Robert DuPont scheme. It'll be weird if and when he changes it, but it's a lot of fun to see what these guys have. But yeah, I say especially in a race like this, Quabby, he sticks out like a sore thumb though in that 07 because he got all that blue and white, and then you got yellow, green, red. So that helps Robert kind of definitely some good attention, some good TV time there. But up front though, Quabby, we've got still 18 cars on the lead lap. We got a couple, unfortunately, a lap down of Bob Fitzgerald and Robert Rock. Unfortunately, a handful of retirees as well: Josh Say, Donald Kendrick, Al Cena, Robert Jordan as well. I believe Doug Lemon as well as a recent retiree. But we're going back here, 14 to go. Fuel should be out of the question. Say Bud Steele again. He's the only one that pitted during the green flag, so everybody else waited for that yellow. I like what Bud did there. I wish he had helped earlier though. But this, again, I think he's just got to paint that yellow line here as we get back to green here with 14 to go. Once we cross that restart zone, it's going to be Bud Steele and Robert DuPont as we get back underway.
Having the 14 behind him is definitely not a bad thing. We've seen Vicente push a lot of people to the lead, so we'll see if that man can push now.
My worry about that, though, is that 6 car right on the outside of Vicente, his teammate Cody Nagels. You know they're going to want to try to get partnered up here sooner than later, so as soon as there's a gap, I think that 14 is going to take it, but before he even gets the chance there goes the 24, Brian Grimm. He's going to pop right up behind that 6 car, and I have a feeling the 3 is going to feel like a sitting duck here in just a moment, because I think as soon as that opportunity arises, we're going to see Vicente pop up with him. Right now, Bud's still leading the way.
Yeah, you have to have helpers, and if Bud gets abandoned, like he'll find allies, I'm sure, as things pan out. The question is, will he find them while he's still sitting in first place? But so far, so good.
Yeah, so far he's where he wants to be. He's in lead, controlling this race, but again, I mean, 13 laps to go, and every lap it's going to start to shuffle around all over the place. Obviously, with some of the apps and programs we're able to play with obviously the overlays of SDK, let's say pretty much you just get flashes of green every time there's a position change or something that happens on track, and it basically it's just constant flashing of green with something happening for position, especially when you're running in that third lane here. They come already there. So trying to see if it's Dean leading that outside line, and it's his teammate actually Brian Grimm leading that third lane. But so far, actually now Robert DuPont, he's getting that push to the outside, and he's clear of the 3 should he choose to take it, but he's going to hold station. Oh, a little bobbler by 55-24. They hung on to it, but these guys they're getting aggressive here, Quabby. We still got a lot of laps to go in this thing, so we'll see. We might not be done here with restarts.
Yeah, you're right. You're good.
There goes one Bud Steele through the infield there, the 07 through the grass. And so far, though, these guys will be able to hang on to it. Oh, there's a late hit there for Robert DuPont. Unfortunately, Bud Steele, say he's actually just pretty much came to stop in the pits. But with just those 2 sliding through, that actually keeps things under green, unfortunately. So such a good opportunity for Bud, just unfortunately wrong place, wrong time, kind of the innocent victim on that one. But that shuffle of everything now allows the 24 and the 55 to take the point, but there goes Cody Nagels. He's going to drop low in front of the 99. He's going to try to lead that inside charge here, but you do have teammates starting to get lined up here with that 55 and 24.
Yeah, it's terrible luck for Robert and Bud. They'll obviously need significant help now since the yellow didn't come out. And you're right, this opened the door for these teammates to get organized, because all of a sudden now there's some open track for them to work with.
Yeah, exactly right. I say when those situations happen, you can kind of make, that's where big kind of shifts in momentum happen. And here, as they talk about teammates, look at that third lane. Here comes those two that just been kind of sandbagging and avoiding wrecks. Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, here they come. They're going just the two of them, but they are making momentum happen on that top side. And you can see drivers are taking note of that. They're trying to jump up there and be part of that group as well. So right now it's just the two, but those two are showing that they will be very strong here. So next time by, going to be 10 to go. There goes the 99, jump into the top there. Robert Duvendak, he wants to be part of that third lane. That's just going to only help propel Gabe and Eric just that little bit further forward here.
Yeah, and it's about what 11 laps to go, and Gabe is making his way to the front. This is how Gabe Butler operates.
Yeah, I'd say the clock went off. It's like, all right, time to release the sandbags and let's get after it there. As that time by, Gabe does lead that lap. He's able to clear the middle lane, and that's going to allow his teammate Eric Laurie to have a chance to breathe the engine. That car probably was getting very hot, pushing the 88 as hard as he was. And that's something that we talk about sometimes, probably haven't talked about yet tonight. It's just, that's the other part that makes some of these guys so good, is how hard they can push but still keep the temperatures in check. Because I mean, if you just live on the bumper and just push for all they're worth, at some point that car is going to overheat and you're going to pop that motor, because that oil and water temps are going to start to spike. So Gabe, though, you see he drops to the inside, picks up momentum from that 420 of David Thatcher. That's going to allow Brian Grimm to take control of that second lane once more. And so unfortunately, that third lane now, just the two of the 071 and the 99 just doesn't quite have the steam. But look at that 19. He thought about four wide there for a second. He rolled back out of it, but these guys are definitely having some thoughts about trying to find an extra lane should they need it.
Yeah, it's been working a trial, but that lane closes pretty quickly afterwards. And it looks like the other DuPont car is thinking about the third lane, and you might have four cars up there. So that will make it 3x4 pretty soon. Yeah,
Jason Adams is just kind of cruise controlling that other the DuPont flame paint scheme on that one. I'd say definitely a Jeff Gordon paint scheme on over there. And yeah, I'd say he's just been kind of sitting, laying back, waiting to bide his time to make the moves. But out in front there, you saw Dean Wilkinson, a big move to the top there to try to get to that outside lane. And that's what Dean said. He wasn't going to really worry about too much of teammates there. However, he has been able to hop up in front of, I believe that might be the 171 of Robert Rock. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's the 071 of Eric Laurie. I'm sorry. I saw the 71 there. Wasn't sure if it was, a little bit of contact there. Midfield 101, a little bit of contact just to his left. And again, almost contact with the 071. So yeah, we're down to 8 to go. And again, we talked about this track's got plenty of room for three-wide racing, but for whatever reason, they all want to stay at the very, very bottom end of it. They don't want to get all the way to the wall there, Quabby. They want to squeeze these guys as tight as they can to kind of force them to kind of keep those cars bound up on the inside line and, of course, try to run as short of a distance as they can themselves.
Yeah, obviously an advantage for the top lane to reduce distance, but if you can bind down the bottom lanes, they don't get such a good run off, and then hopefully by the next turn you're passing them. But yeah, it looks like the third lane is still not fully established, I would say. Four cars are making a good push right now. It feels like they might need a fifth one, or I don't know. It looks like Dean's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I think just right now, just the organization isn't quite there. When we saw Gabe and Eric get lined up and get to the front, they were pretty much, it was as if they were basically a single car. They're all just right in line with each other, and that's what happens when you work with teammates, is you're just right lockstep with each other. You see a couple of drivers drop into the apron, letting the leaders go on by there. I think Bud Steele was one of those, and you see one more coming through here in the frame in just a moment. I thought I saw him. Yep, there he is, 21, also down in the apron. And so that's one of those things that you don't expect to see very often, but it's pretty common here at Area 51 to say the leaders are usually, or I should say the lap cars are usually pretty aware. It's like, okay, hey, they're 3x3. I could try to force the fourth lane if you will, and make them all go low, but usually they'll just run the apron. It's just the respectful nature of the league. Of course, everybody wants to win as I said, I contacted the 101-071. Oh, big wreck here in 1 and 2. We got a car flipping up and over there. That's the 68 of David Overstreet. Yellow's back out. And unfortunately, that 21 who just let all the field go by, trying to kind of stay out of the way, he gets involved in it as well. And we got a lot of heavy damaged cars in this one here. The 68 we'd mentioned. Obviously, he looks like he had to take a tow. Randy Miner's going to try to limp this thing back to the pits. Hopefully a fast repair available for him. And just not the luck that the 21 was looking for. Like I said, let everybody go by and then just gets caught up right in the middle of that wreck there.
Yeah, terrible timing for the 21. And yeah, Randy Miner had a good recovery to be towards the front of the pack because he was off the back before the first yellow. And looks like he just drifts up and
we'll back it up a little better here to see if, and actually we'll look a little closer here because actually if you're watch the 101 here, and I think the 420. I think 420 maybe drifts up just a tiny bit, and I think the 101 has to react to that, and that's what gets him up. As you can see right there, the 420, he drifts up towards the 19. I think the 101 sees that. He drifts up, actually maybe a little bit of net code possibly as well, but that unfortunately gets him into the side of Eric Lorius, and at that point, Eric's got nothing he can do. Look at Cody Nagels. He sees that already in his peripheral. He goes straight to the apron, but then unfortunately see the 99, he gets caught, and there's the 68. He goes up and over, going for a wild ride there. And you see the 24 sneaks by, looks like gets some decent damage as well, the 99, and then there's the 171. Everything was looking good for a split second, and then he gets caught in the left rear, and then he goes right up into the outside of the wall. So definitely a number of cars involved in this one here in the late goings of the race. So tough break for a lot of these guys here, but hopefully some of these drivers maybe have a fast repair left in the tank. They'll be able to throw that on and get back after it here. So with that yellow though, Gabe Butler back to the point, probably like we talked about. He'd been kind of just cruising, riding. He said, you know what? Yep, it's time to go. And unfortunately, though, we do have a handful of retirees now as well, adding Charles Johnson to the mix. Looks like we mentioned Robert DuPont. Looks like he's already down and out as well. So we're going to have a pretty small group here on this final restart here. As you see, pretty significant damage here to Vicente. We'll see hopefully a fast repair left in that car. Yep, there he goes, all looking good. See Tom Dixon as well. That car, if he doesn't have one, he's going to be in big trouble. So he hits pit road. There we go. That car, magic fix there. Those are what you love to see. Here's the 99. He's rolling through. It looks like he has already done his service. Say Jason Adams as well. So I think a lot of these drivers save that fast repair. And that's the thing is you don't know, Quabi. It could be lap 1. It could be lap 5. It could be lap 70. What are we at right now? 74 or 73, I believe it is. So that's the reason why if it's minimal damage, you want to keep it and just kind of live with it. Maybe get it repaired manually and then save that fast repair for those big incidents like we just saw there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bud Steele and Robert DuPont basically out of contention. I thought maybe the caution would have been soon enough, but looks like they're not going to be able to recover. Gabe is exactly where he needs to be at this point of time. But there are some cars out there that had to get fixed the old-fashioned way, and we'll see if they have enough top end to be in contention at the end of this one.
Yeah, so I think the beneficiary of this yellow is Bob Fitzgerald, because he's now back on the lead lap. You see him hustling around to catch back up to the field. So I believe that's going to leave us 16 cars on the lead lap. Randy Miner, Bob Fitzgerald will be the last two. Robert Rock, unfortunately, is the first car one down. I believe actually the only car one down. So you never want yellows, but selfishly, Robert probably wants a yellow here, so that way he can get back on the lead lap and fight for this win as well. So again, it's all for fun. No points, no prizes, anything like that. These guys just having fun, and again, just kind of having some fun, and hoping that Jim's enjoying the show what these guys are putting on tonight. So let's say we're down to it though, Quabi, because I believe this is going to be an unofficial green-white checkered here, because we're going to cross the line here with 1 to go at 3 to go, which will give us 2 to go at the restart. So there's a reason we went with that green-white checker TV, and it doesn't happen a lot, but we have had our fair share of unofficial green-white checkers here on green-white checker TV. So these Area 51 guys usually pretty good about keeping it clean. But of course, that's a fun race, no points involved. There's going to be these guys will ramp it up a little bit. They just, like I said, they just can't help themselves.
That's true. Even if it's for fun, the most fun you can have is winning a race, right? So there's going to be battling to the finish, and close quarters, especially with things like netcode thrown in there. You'll have things like this that happen. But overall, it's been a pretty clean race. Some of the incidents we've seen have been kind of circumstantial. and now it's just going to be who works together the best, and it'll be 3 wide pretty much once the flag drops. And
Yeah, exactly. So
who the best combo is.
before we get to turn 3 and 4, we'll pull up one more time. We'll run through a couple more pictures. Haven't had a chance to get through the whole set of things. Obviously, we left off with the Pink's All Out picture of the Nova, saying that looks like a familiar picture for those that are looking at the hood of that car, and that is him in his 63 Nova. And so that's where that fire suit picture came from. And this is the car in question, one of the launches he had, and saying that car, this is before the wheelie bar squad, because we got some new slicks on that car, and it kind of broke some exhaust, because that thing decided that it wanted to kind of go up into the air, and so that was definitely a fun surprise for our dad on that launch. Not this one in particular, but one in a previous one. Definitely had some moments there, and then say some embarrassing pictures that he won't want us to share of just kind of him enjoying himself out and about, and of course him with the race car there, all suited up and ready to party. And there's the 3 of us getting that car ready, kind of either pre-briefing, debriefing, I'm not sure which, but it's always fun though it was a really fun thing to do with us and friends and family, to just spend some time and go to the track and enjoy ourselves. So it was really cool to be able to do that kind of stuff. And I think then we get back into, there's some more of the car at launch with me hiding in the background doing some videotaping. I think that gets us. Oh yeah, and then something you're well aware of, Quabi, the Tour de Tucson. I say this is our old man doing 109 miles of a bicycle ride in Tucson here with about 6 months of prep. So we'll leave it at that one real quick, because we're about to get back to green here, Quabi, as it's going to be Gabe Butler and Brian Grimm leading the field here, as we're going to come down to 2 to go here for our unofficial green-white checker.
Yeah, wheelie bars are important when you need them. Sometimes you find out it's a little bit too late. I'm curious to see how Gabe controls this. I imagine he's going to wait for the green to fly, and then he's going to go.
Yeah, I think you want to wait as long as you can, because you want to keep that field bunched up together behind you. You don't want to get that big lead here. And yeah, you can see though right away though, Gabe's got about a car length over that 420 of David Thatcher. That's not what Gabe's going to be looking for. But look at the top side. Haven't talked about this guy right there. And that's Simon Circus in that 020. He jumps to the top right away, but nobody went with him yet. So he's going to have to try to regroup, build that momentum back up, because I haven't really talked about him tonight. But it looks like he's ready to make a charge as well in that 3rd lane. We'll see. Someone's going to want to jump in front of him, and there it was with Saint Guerrero. Left nothing to spare to hop in front of that 3rd lane, and that's what's going to happen. So everybody's going to go, and there goes his teammate Cody Nagels. He's going to hop back up front as well. So it's all to play for. But what happens now, Bobby, is they got to get through 3 and 4 through the trial cleanly. And if they do, at that point, all bets are off. It's going to be whoever gets to the line first. However, if there's a late incident here that brings out a yellow from that point, then we will have another restart as we're getting close to it. Oh, 420, he's around. But no yellow, he got through the line. So, but the problem is Gabe Butler, he has no help, Quabi. And you can see there he tries to squeeze a little bit, and everybody's stacking up on the outside lane. But right now it's the 424, Brian Grimm. He's in a good spot. We got trouble, big trouble behind us. So we've got a number of drivers caught up in that one. And here's Gabe. He picked up Dean Wilkinson, but it might be too little too late right now. Brian Grimm now, he's going to have to try to play defense here. What lane do you protect? Do you stay middle? Do you stay bottom? There goes Mark Clarkson. Look, no, he's going to have to stay put. And here comes Gabe.
Oh, what a run.
Big push from Dean Wilkinson. He left that bottom open too long. And here comes Dean and Gabe with that huge shove out of 4. Gabe's going to take the lead here by a nose, but don't count that 2nd or 3rd lanes out, because here they come on the 3rd lane. However,
more crashing.
Yeah, they got trouble around, and it's going to be Gabe Butler, like I said, doing Gabe Butler things, getting the win over Brian Grimm, Mark Mastrella. But I think the hats off are going to be going for Dean Wilkinson, because he's really the reason why Gabe was even able to get back to the front there. Let's go back one more time and take a look at that push to the finish line, because they got tight there at the end. But yeah, I mean, it was really honestly thanks to Dean that pushed that 88 car to the front. But like I said, we'll have to find out. Maybe Gabe was blindfolded through that final stretch there, because that's just, yeah, that's Gabe to a T, though. As you can see, that outside line, they pushed it just a little too hard, and unfortunately at 411 there, it gets spun around of Tom Dixon. But that's what happens at the end of these things. These guys just get a little greedy, a little aggressive. But at the line, you can see right there, there's the 88 there, just ahead of the 24 there, and then the 19 just edging out Dean Wilkinson for that final top 3 spot. But we'll make sure we'll go through the final running order here before we call things official. And let's go ahead and pull those final results up now, Quabi, as obviously clearly Gabe Butler wins by about half a tenth of a second over Brian Grimm. Mark Mastrella there in third. And then, yeah, it was 100th of a second between he and Dean Wilkinson. Robert Duvendak brings it home in fifth. Then our teammates Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero just couldn't quite get hooked up as they needed to there, finished in 6th, 7th. David Bond, Eric Laurie, Randy Miner are top 10. And then, unfortunately, some of those that didn't quite get as far up as they wanted to with kind of the chaos in that final lap. Randy Miner, Bob Fitzgerald, Simon Sergis, Tom Dixon, David Thatcher, and Jason Adams are lead lap finishers. And then Joe Delavecchia, Robert Rock, David Overstreet, all a lap or more down. And we get to those drivers that did not have the nights they were looking for, unfortunately, including Bud Steele, who was just unfortunately innocent victim of that contact towards the end. Same thing goes for Robert DuPont there, Robert Jordan as well, early retirement in the 74. And Michael Taylor, Charles Johnson Cup in those incidents, he had to retire early. Doug Lemon, Guy Bracco, Al Cena, Donald Kendrick, and Josh CA. Oh, actually, one more. James Mohan. So, unfortunately, our 29th and final finisher.
Well, you can never count out Gabe, but with half a lap to go, I didn't think that was possible. But he got tremendous help from Gabe, and the seas stayed parted, as it were, and he just kept going.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll start pulling in some drivers here. We're going to kick it off with that number 19 of Mark Mastrella, and we'll see what he has to say about his result here tonight. So we'll pull Mark on in. Obviously a fun race tonight, Mark, but so you were going for it at the end, but you were in that tough spot where you're pushing the 24, but you don't know when and where to try to make the move and which line to go to, and it looked like you had a little move. Brian was able to kind of keep you pinned behind him there. I mean, what maybe could you have done differently to try to jump that 24, maybe try to see if you could sneak a win around that 88 car of Gabe Butler?
Well, truthfully, I was trying to push Brian to the win. So, in essence, what happened is I lifted, and I shouldn't have, because I could have gotten Brian to the finish and gotten him past Gabe. There were multiple chances that I could have taken a move, but that wasn't my plan. My plan was to back up my buddy.
See, I was looking at the team channels in Discord, and I saw you over with the DuPont team there. So I was like, all right, so he's gonna be working with those guys. So Brian's out to lunch. He's gonna get picked on here at some point. But and was that just the kind of backing it off a little bit? Was that just to try to make sure you had the temps to kind of push him all the way to the finish without popping it? Or I mean, what was basically the oil and water temps? Was that what the concern was there at the end?
Not exactly. I felt like I was just pushing him a little too hard, and I thought I was going to turn him, to be quite honest with you. So as opposed to that, I lifted, and that slight lift gave that inside line that surge going into 3, where they just went right by us. And as they went by us, then I really, I hammered down, tried to push them through. And, we came close. I'll tell you that. We really did come close, but not close enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That big surge at the end, you guys were definitely making a lot of momentum there out of 4 through the tri-oval, and it was a really good effort there. And yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun to see you work your way up there again. One of our higher climbers, 15 spots up from where you started through. Obviously, a lot happening tonight through some various incidents, having to some drivers having to burn those fast repairs and then keep it clean the rest of the way. I mean, was yours straightforward tonight, or was there a fair bit that you had to try to work through on your own as well?
No, I'll say quite honestly, I came away with 3 fast repairs still intact, and I did 1 set of tire changes, and in addition, I actually had I had a graphics glitch that threw me to the back, so I believe in 28th. So going in, I had to make up 20. I made up 25 spots in the end, and I was quite pleased with that kind of a performance. That gave me something. It gave me something to work for, and I felt like what I did was a good job. I'm happy with it.
No, I mean, and that's what you want to say. Obviously tonight just being a fun race, but say obviously the season kicking off here in just a couple of nights. I mean, is that one of those things you kind of take in to move forward and be like, okay, I did some stuff, maybe learn a little bit of things, and then kind of try to use that for the upcoming season here?
Well, yeah, I'd like to use it as something to tell some of the other drivers that I can be your friend too, and maybe we all should work together and I'd like to have a good season, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, Mark. It was a great run tonight. But before we let you go, of course, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that podium tonight?
Well, I want to give a shout out to all the TW drivers. I want to give a shout out to Charles for putting this on. I want to give a shout out to the person that we're putting this on for. It means a lot to us to do this. I was really proud to be a part of that 4-lap salute, or I mean the 4-wide salute. It was just it was a fun thing to do, and I like to support people. I'm glad that we can do that.
Yeah, so it's a good little group we have over here, and yeah, I'd say obviously bias aside, I'd say for my brother and I, yeah, definitely was really cool to see all you guys kind of hop in and just like I said, kind of just give him your support and all that. So I know it meant a lot to him as well. So yeah, really appreciate you being a part of this. It was a lot of fun to watch and broadcast it as always. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for these guys next season, because yeah, I think you're gonna definitely have something to show these guys and kind of, like I said, show some that you can be friends with you too, and you'll be able to have some fun with them and get some more podiums and go for that win here.
I appreciate that. Thank you, and I hope it works out that way.
All right, great job tonight, man. Looking forward to seeing you here in the next couple of days. So enjoy this one, and we'll talk soon though.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And again, a big shout out to everyone that has anything to do with this. It's been for a great cause and something that, we all believe in. It's life and love.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, definitely appreciate that, Mark, and look forward to chatting with you soon, man. So enjoy this one. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon, sir.
Right on. Peace on earth, my friends.
All right, so now we got to switch it over from that 19 to the driver. He was trying to help get the win. Quabi almost got there. Say we got some little extra there, getting a little scruffy there with the rubber on the face of our dad there. But we're gonna pull in Brian Grimm on over here as well. And it was close there, Brian. You look like you're in a good spot. Obviously, you always kind of want to be in that second lane. I feel like that momentum just didn't quite get the combination. I'd say, and when you get someone like Gabe and Dean hooked on together, those two are pretty tough to beat there. Anything different that you maybe could have or should have done, or were you pretty happy with everything you did there coming to the finish?
Well, if I could do it over again, I'd probably wreck Dean before he could push Gabe. No, I'm just kidding. It was fun. It was a fun race. There's, at that point, coming off of 4, it is what it is. You're racing to the line.
And that was the thing was, I mean, my brother and I were like, oh man, Gabe's in trouble. He's got no help. He's kind of off on his own. Then all of a sudden, here comes Dean to the bottom, and it took a lot less time than we anticipated, and probably the same thing as you. I'm sure you're watching the intervals, you're checking your mirrors, and I mean, because it's just like that. Those cars just basically just ramped up. It seemed like 5-10 miles an hour once they hooked up. I mean, it was just like a light switch that they're like, oh, here they come. And it was almost one of those things you almost don't have time to react to, or maybe it's like, hey, I want to protect the bottom or where the momentum is. Was it just one of those things where it was one of those things that they were closing too quick, where it's like even if you try to block it, it's probably just going to wind up sending you around. So it's like just stay with Mark and kind of work with your partner that you've been going with after that.
Yep, exactly. Because by the time I saw him coming, it was too late. They just came out of nowhere, just like a shot, just like you're describing. But I mean, I don't know. I've won a heck of a lot more races in the line I was running than down along the yellow. So it like I said, coming out of 4, I had Mark behind me. He'd been pushing me very well. So it was what it was. I had to just trust me. I'm looking in the mirror, going, come on. So, but it was fun. It was a very fun race.
Yeah, it definitely looked like an enjoyable one for sure. So we definitely enjoyed it here, watching everything. And that's the kind of same thing I was asking Mark. Is this, even though obviously a fun race, this is one of those things where it's like, with the level of drivers you have here with the Super Speedway Series, it's one of those like, okay, like I got the podium tonight, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna use this and build on this to go into the season and go after that championship for this upcoming season.
Yeah, I haven't even signed up for this upcoming season. I'm still debating whether or not I will. I race every night except for Sundays, and the wife kind of likes to have me do something with her once in a while.
So I can't fault you on that one too much. So I don't want to get you in trouble with the misses because that'll never go over too well either. But say whenever we get you, it's always a pleasure to have you on the track, man. But yeah, definitely before we let you go and let's say maybe spend some time with the misses there. Definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts or anything like that for your runner up here tonight.
Well, shout out to Jim. This race was, uh, put on by Charles for Jim, and I hope nothing but the best, and may the good Lord throw down a miracle or two.
I say I definitely appreciate it. Obviously on our side, of course on his side as well. So yeah, great job though tonight, Brian. Looking forward to seeing you when you're able to make it, of course. But yeah, go enjoy this one and go have some fun, and look forward to seeing you on track here in the near future.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good evening, and you guys did a fabulous job.
Thanks, sir. You as well.
Yep. Bye.
All right, Quabi, that leaves us one person left to chat with. And say we were kind of picking on him a little earlier, just kind of cruising in the back, doing what my dad does or our dad does. I say you got to get out of that habit. And then say avoiding wrecks like the best of them, drinking a Guinness, and say the question we have, Gabe, is something our dad kind of chatted on there with was he said you could run blindfolded and still win. So the question is how much of that final run were you blindfolded in this one?
Well, with the amount of Guinness that I put away tonight, I probably had one good eye, and I couldn't see out of the other one. So if that answers your question, there you go.
Yeah, so it's one of those ones where you got to kind of have one arm tied around your back to make it even or fair for the other guys. It sounds like in these races, and that's like I said, that's what when we chatted with you earlier. It's just you've got the entire package here on the super speedway side. Like you've got the pit strategies. You can win that way. You can win on the just the pit stop outright speed in and out and hitting your pit stalls. And then of course just playing it safe, kind of waiting for the right time to make the moves and then make the charge. I mean, it's a tough one to. I mean, how do you is there anywhere you feel like you can still grow or can still improve? Because I say like Peter DeBoer just piping in here over here is the Area 51 GOAT. So I can't really disagree with him because I mean, yeah, like I said, you're just a monster in all aspects of this stuff. I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, is like I said, is there anywhere you feel like okay, I want to try to get a little better at XYZ, or it's just kind of just doing little teeny things here and there, and just like, hey, maybe I'll try this and see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, every race. Well, first of all, you can't do it by yourself. I mean, I got to give a shout out to Eric who pushed me up on the third lane to get me into position in the first place, and then a fabulous push from Dean at the end because I think Brian and Mark would have had it if they had to drop down in front of me, but Dean came out of nowhere and pushed me onto the win there. But yeah, just you kind of fine tune the skill set that you have and work with what you have. And I still think my weakness is, pit entry. I'd still like to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit better at it. But I mean, there are things that you can work on. I mean, you can't really practice by yourself doing that. You have to be kind of in a race or in a group practice at least and try and put that down. But you're always trying to improve, and you see some guys doing some things that you say, oh, well, yeah, maybe I'll try that this time and see if that works. And if it doesn't, then, go back to what you were doing. But I try and learn from other drivers as best I can, to be honest.
No, I mean, whatever you've been doing, it obviously works. And say if it comes to the pit entry school, I'll say I'm going to guess that's probably a Sebastian Marin school there, because I'd say we know he's a monster on those pit entries. But I mean, you were, like I said, I mean, you had some good wreck avoidance. You say you kind of played it cool and early, and then, like I said, you got that great push from Eric to get from the top to the lead there. And then, yeah, I mean, that last lap there, that big push you got from Dean, because it's like, okay, Gabe's on the inside, everything's looking good, and then you look in the mirror, all your help is gone. And then here comes Dean, and usually, I mean, to me, it takes a little bit of time to get that momentum built up where you can make that charge again. But I mean, it was just like you two, as soon as you got hooked up, I mean, it seemed like your car jumped like 10 miles an hour, and just out of nowhere, you come after Mark and Brian there out of the backstretch into 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what that was all about, but I can just credit Dean with just getting hooked on and stayed hooked on. I'm not sure if the guys were up top were separated a little bit or weren't square on or what, but yeah, that run was just wicked. I was even chatting to Eric. I was saying, I mean, just Dean came out of nowhere and we just took off. Now, that being said, that last pit stop that we did take 4 tires, and that definitely helped us on the high side, and I think it helped in the tri-oval. I don't know what kind of shape Dave's tires might have been in. I think he had a little wobble in the tri-oval there. I think he was the one that was pushing me, and he might have just caught the apron, or his tires might have been gone or something. I don't know. But either way, it was we had a blast, and I'm glad all these guys came out tonight and did this for your dad, and appreciate Charles making the effort and taking the time to put this on. I mean, there's some guys that couldn't make it tonight through work, and I know Jimmy Crow wanted to be here, but his internet line got cut. So wish there would have been more, but really appreciate all the guys that came out.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Like I said, I was able to make it, and that's the thing is like, yeah, they may not be able to make it tonight, but say you guys have such a solid crew with Area 51 over on Sundays and Thursdays. Obviously, starting the season back up here, coming up soon on Sunday nights, and then you got to defend your title on the Super Speedway Truck Series on Thursday nights. So, I mean, is this one of those ones where you just regroup and go after it again, or do you do anything different? Say, okay, it worked this way, I'm gonna try it this way to go after that title once more.
No, kind of the same mental attitude going into it. You go in and try and win it, but I mean, each race, even though it's super speedway, each race is so different. I mean, you just have to constantly adjust your strategy and your way of thinking from race to race. I mean, if you keep in the same mindset for every race and are rigid, then it's not going to get you anywhere. You really have to adapt, and our guys that we race with are really good at adapting to in-race situations. And it's again, I've always give credit to my teammates, because you can't do it by yourself on a super speedway. You got to have help, and I always seem to have some great help with my boot knocker teammates.
Yeah, so that definitely is a group to be reckoned with for sure. So, say before we let you go and maybe try to work off some of that Guinness here, say definitely want to give you the floor if you have any other thanks or shouts or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, I mean, definitely appreciate everything you've done for the league and for the series. I say it's like I said, you're definitely one of the class acts. I say it's not just outright pace; it's just the little bit of everything you do. So, definitely want to give you the floor though for any additional thanks or shouts you'd like to give.
I appreciate that, guys, and yeah, once again, just a big shout out to Area 51. Huge shout out to Charles for putting this together, and of course, you guys for doing a wonderful broadcast. I can't wait to go back and watch it. It's always a blast watching your guys' analysis of the races, and a huge shout out to your dad. Always like racing with your dad. Look forward to racing with him again, and hope he can make a recovery at some point, and we'll see him back on the track. So absolutely, if there's one thing I want to see next season, is your dad back on the track racing.
Yeah, we'll definitely start bugging him and get some more racing done as he's feeling up to it. Yeah, so he's definitely still doing the indie side of things, but so he's definitely stepped away a little bit. So yeah, I'll say if he's feeling up to, I'll definitely rib him a little bit. Hey, get back on track here. So, but yeah, Gabe, like I said, I definitely appreciate it. Thanks, and yeah, I really appreciate all of you guys hopping on and having fun with us tonight. It was a lot of fun to do. And we'll let you go and hang out with your teammates and buddies, and we'll throw a few more some pictures and backstory before we finish up tonight. But great job though, man, tonight, and definitely looking forward to seeing more of you.
Thanks again, guys, and quick shout out to Dean for doing some quick paint jobs there with your dad's face on the car. So that was pretty awesome of Dean.
Yeah, no, it's a really good. It works actually really well. So yeah, definitely, like I said, definitely big shout out to Dean for getting that squared away too. So, yeah, thanks, Gabe, and congrats again, and we'll chat soon, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Quabi. So with that, we've got our top 3 finishers. So with that being said, though, we got some more pictures to play with here because we haven't gone through all of them yet. So he may have been hoping that we had forgotten about some pictures, but no, we're not done yet, old man. So we're gonna switch over now to we go back to the Tour de Tucson picture. And actually, yeah, okay, we still got some more. So it's about quite about 6 months of prep, and he's able to do 109 miles, I think it was, with you. It's pretty impressive, and he was going after to do it again and try to go a little faster. Just unfortunately, the knee wasn't cooperating. So, and of course, then other things came about that slowed that process down as well. But then we get back to some old back to the NASCAR 2003 days here with your number 53 AMD. Looks like Dodge Intrepid, if I'm not mistaken, or RTSA I see on there. So, and again, we've been doing this stuff for forever here. with paint schemes and fun stuff. And then we go way back here, Quabi. The number 26 Ichabod's Ice Tea Unical on the door. So I believe we decided this was NASCAR 2, or where do we wind up on this one?
I think Vivek painted that in NASCAR 2, probably like, we'll say like 1997, something like that.
So yeah, so the blast from the past for those that so you can see this is what you had to work with, and so you can see again. I mean, you think about what Photoshop has now in the colors, so you can kind of see on the right side the color options you had over there. So you make the most with what you got, and that again, this is how far sim racing has come. I mean, even then, though, being able to paint your own cars is pretty cool to see. And you get back to the NASCAR 2003 on the Gen 6 side of things. One of his Summit racing cars, say again, number 70 kind of was the go-to number. Not sure when he, at some point, kind of went to 76 for a little while when we kind of did those Unical paint schemes, and of course had to go to number 51 for Area 51 Racing League. But it was pretty fun though. This car, a lot of things that were on or are and were on his Nova, his drag car, with the Lenco transmission and Brodix for the heads. You got McLeod there for his clutch on the car. And obviously Summit making plenty of money off of us for parts and things of that nature too. So this is one of those cars that I was able to put together for him for one of our previous leagues over in the NASCAR 2003 side of things. Then same thing, kind of go the Summit route with one of his trucks as well. So this was, I think, actually using one of the Matt Kenseth USG paint schemes, kind of just recolored it, rebranded it a little bit. So another one of the paint schemes he ran with the truck series over in NASCAR 2003. Then again, we talked about the IROC thing that we did with our league that we had done as well. So you got the Papa Jim 52 Camaro Z28 IROC. So it was fun to see a lot of things we got to play with and improve on and learn and everything like that. And then get to some of the older style cars again, more Summit. Not sure the Mountain Dew associate came from. I don't think he was ever a Mountain Dew drinker that I'm aware of. He'd have to kind of chime in on that one at some point, but and yeah,
I don't think he'd admit it.
He probably wouldn't admit it. Yeah, then get back to the Stephen King. So say they got the Gunslinger Dark Tower paint scheme on this one. Again, just kind of, this is my early days of painting and playing with stuff. So so it's a lot of fun. I say we've been through our fair share of sim racing with him, and it's been a lot of fun to do this, and again to grow where we have now with the sim racing, with broadcasting and running an Area 51. We're in the broadcast for Area 51 League, and again getting kind of familiar with the admins in the group, and just kind of having a nice little, like, just almost a little family, if you will, dysfunctional as it may be. So it's a lot of fun, and Quabi, appreciate you hopping on and helping me out with this one tonight. It's definitely a lot of fun to do these with you, kind of make that family affair, because I mean, like I said, I mean, we've been through a ton with each other through racing and real life racing on the computer, and of course just real life itself. And obviously you helping me out of a bit of a pickle there, picking up some tires and wheels for a new project we've got coming up with him that we look forward to doing a lot of with him as well. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and looking forward to the next projects and kind of continuing to grow from here.
Yeah, it's fun broadcasting. Hopefully, Papa, you appreciate it. Definitely have all our love and support. It's not a simple thing you're going through, but we're trying to make it as fun as possible and take some time to reflect as we can. I think it'd be fun to go through and try to find all the NASCAR Racing 1 and 2 paint jobs that we have, hopefully on hard drives that still function. It was amazing that Vivek found a couple of old paint schemes. And Gael, I know you probably painted 100 cars. I think my painting days are, in the older platforms. I'm sure I have some of those somewhere. It'd be fun to pull those out of the virtual closet.
Yeah, it'd definitely be a lot of fun to do. And yeah, exactly right. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And definitely hope you had fun and enjoyed this one. And like I said, a lot of those guys echoed us. I definitely hope to race with you plenty more on track as well. Obviously a little more difficult for me because more often than not, I'm in the booth, but we'll find ways to get on track with you as well. But definitely for us here at Green White Checker TV, and of course us as your son and as your eldest, your favorite son, and then your second or third favorite son in myself, and of course I'll say with us then your 4 granddaughters and such. So like I said, definitely thinking of you, love you, and looking forward to you kind of beating this thing and getting back to full tilt and everything like that. So yeah, I said I'll plan on seeing you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll all see you here in just a couple days over the weekend. But yeah, definitely thinking of you. We know you've got this. You're gonna beat it up because, like I said, you're a stubborn old man. So yeah. Other than that, Quabi, thanks again for hopping on, helping me out with this. We'll be back on Sunday night for our regularly scheduled racing with Area 51. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, for supporting, and being a part of this. It means a ton to us. So hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you in a few more nights. So until then, though, stay safe. Give an extra hug to your loved ones, 2-legged, 4-legged, whatever it may be. And we'll talk soon. So until then, take care, have a good night, and we'll see you all on Sunday.